welcome to part 2 of this reviewing each NHL team this season. Today we will start off with the New Jersey Devils that we left off on the Nashville Predators last time. So why don't we get right to the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils are last in the Metropolitan Division, but that Metropolitan Division this year, it was just stacked. Almost every team has more than 75 points, except the New Jersey Devils, who have 28 wins, 29 losses, and 12 overtime losses. They are 8th in the wild card standings, just above Ottawa and Detroit. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. They have to catch up a lot of ground, so it's going to be kind of hard for that. But for their points, they have 45. Kyle Palmieri has 45 points in 65 games, and then Gustav 44 points in 66 games. So that's not bad. I'm going to give them a 4 out of 10 this season. The next team is the New York Islanders, who are actually having a really successful season, even though they are not in a playoff spot. They are just I think it was 1 point out of the play. Yep, 1 point out of a playoff spot, even though they are -1 goal differential. 35 wins, 23 losses, and 10 overtime losses for them. Not bad. And they are 6th in the division, just ahead of the New York Rangers. In points, there's Barzal with 60 and 68, and then Nelson with 54 and 68. So they're doing really well with points, so I'll probably give them an 8 out of 10, 7.5. Let's go 7.5 out of 10. Now it is the New York Rangers, who only have 1 point less than the Islanders. Even though they are 7th in the division, they're doing really well this season with a lot of good point scores, insanely. So they have 37 wins and 28 losses with 5 overtime losses, and the 4th wild card spot. In points, Panarin is leading the team with 95 points in 69 games, which is just outrageous. It's insane. It's going to get them a lot of points on my thing. And then next they have Zibanejad with 75 points in only 57 games, which is another insane thing. A lot of them have plus, not minus. It's just great season for them. So I'm going to give them, let's say, an 8. The next team is the Ottawa Senators, who are just low, who are 7th in the division, but so many less points than the Rangers. So the Senators have 25 wins, 34 losses, and 12 overtime losses for 62 points in 71 games. They're -52, which is not great, but their points, they have Brady Tkachuk leading the team with 44 points in 71 games, which is not that bad. And for point per game, it's probably going to be Peugeot with 40 points in 60 games, but he left for the Islanders at the trade deadline. For them, I'm going to give him probably a 4 out of 10, just like I did with New Jersey. Now, the next team has had a really good run the last few days, or the last few weeks. It is the Philadelphia Flyers, and they have just been outstanding. 89 points in 69 games, and that's just a tiny bit of it. 41 wins, 21 losses, and 7 overtime losses, and they're probably going to win the division if we do start it up again, as the Capitals are kind of falling behind. For points, not the best. It's still pretty good. 61 points in 66 games for Travis Konechny, and then Sean Couturier with 59 points in 69 games. And then they keep been going for the 50s and then the 40s. So actually not that bad. It's pretty good. So I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10 this season. They're just playing really well. Just like the Capitals, the Pittsburgh Penguins have definitely been falling behind a little bit. With 86 points in 69 games, they did have a really good start to the season, but then they've been kind of losing a lot of games so far. 40 wins, 23 losses, 6 overtime losses in 69 games. Not too bad. And points is pretty good too, with 74 points in 55 games for Malkin. He also had an injury with that, as he only played 55 games. 56 points in 55 games is Brian Rust, and then Crosby still putting up amazing points even though he has been injured for a lot this season. 47 points in 41 games. and then Crystal Tank comes after that, and then pretty good points for them. So points have been really good for them this season. So I'm going to have to give them a 8.5 out of 10. My next team is the San Jose Sharks. Even though they have probably one of the most stacked teams in the NHL, they could just not put it together, and they only had 63 points in 70 games. They had 29 wins, 36 losses, and 5 overtime losses. Not terrible, but it's just not been great for them this season. In points, they have 49 points in 70 games for Timo Meier and 47 points in 64 games for Evander Kane, and then they had a few more 40s and then 30s. Not bad, not terrible, but it's just not been a great season, and I had to put them 4 out of 10. The former Stanley Cup champions had another really successful 7th and 8th season with 94 points in 71 games, 2 points ahead of the Colorado Avalanche, and they've just been playing phenomenal, just like they did in the Stanley Cup Finals. 42 wins, 19 losses, and 10 overtime losses in 71 games is just a small bit of how they've been doing with their points, too. 61 points in 71 games for Ryan O'Reilly, 60 points in 71 games for David Perron. David Perron's just been their great player this season. He's been showing that he can definitely be a first-line forward. And also the goalies did really good, too. Jordan Bennington, 30 wins, and Jake Allen, 12 wins. I know I haven't mentioned them before, but the goalies have definitely been a big part. A great season for them. Next team is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Definitely not as good as last season, but really good this season too. 92 points in 70 games, 43 wins, 21 losses, and 6 overtime losses, which can bring them second in the Atlantic and second, I think, in the whole thing. Been good for them. 85 points in 68 games for Kucherov, 66 points in 57 games, 64 points in 66 games. 66 and 57 with Stamkos, and then the next one's Point. And there's Hedman, who's definitely going to be a good defenseman for them. He's already been amazing. And I'm going to rank them, pretty good ranking, 9 out of 10. Now it is the Toronto Maple Leafs, who did lose to a Zamboni driver. Well, now they had 81 points in 70 games, 36 wins, 25 losses, and 9 overtime losses for third in the Atlantic Division. Pretty good points for them. 80 points in 70 games for Austin Matthews, 67 points in 59 games for Mitch Marner, and 60 points in 63 games for Tavares. They had a lot of injuries, I can tell you that. I don't really see many players with 70 games played, which is not good. Yeah, there's barely any players, which is not good for them, but they have had a lot of good points. I'm bringing them an 8 out of 10. The Vancouver Canucks have played so much better than seasons before. Jacob Markstrom, Quinn Hughes have been helping them do it, with them 78 points in 69 games, fourth in the Pacific, 36 wins, 27 losses, and 6 overtime losses. Then for points, we have 72 points in 69 games for JT Miller, another player helping them. 66 points in 68 games for Pettersson, 53 points in 69 games for Horvat, 53 points in 68 games for Hughes. They have been bombing with these points. And so I'm going to give them an 8.5 out of 10. Just been a phenomenal season for them, hoping they can make the playoffs. The Vegas Golden Knights have played good in every season they have played in the NHL, which is only 3 seasons, but they have 86 points in 71 games. They lead the Pacific Division, 39 wins, 24 losses, and 8 overtime losses. For points, not bad too. Max Pacioretty, 66 points in 71 games. Mark Stone, 63 points in 65 games. Riley Smith with 54 and 71. And then they get a lot more 40s and 30s, which has been a really good season for them. Another just amazing season. It's going to be good playoffs if we do have some for them. Now it is the Washington Capitals who've had another successful season. 41 wins, 20 losses, 8 overtime losses, which makes 90 points in 69 games. And they've had a lot of good stuff to watch. Ovi getting 700, and there's a lot of fun things to watch this season. John Carlson leads the team with 75 points in 69 games. Then it's Ovi with 67 points in 68 games, who does lead the team in goals, of course, 48 goals. And he's just being so good this season with his slap shot. It's just a great season for them. That's why I'm going to give him a higher ranking. It's going to be a pretty good ranking. It's going to be 9.5 out of 10. Such a good season. They had been falling apart the last few weeks, but they're still in the first of the division. Here we go. The Winnipeg Jets, the last team. They are in a wild card spot. The first wild card spot with 80 points, 37 wins, 28 losses, 6 overtime losses for 80 points in 71 games. Points are going really well. 73 points in 71 games for Kyle Connor, 73 points in 71 games for Mike Scheifele, 65 points in 71 games, Blake Wheeler. Just an overall great season. That's why I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. They're probably going to make the playoffs. They're doing really well, so yeah. Thank you guys for watching today. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe at home. Don't really leave the house if you have to get food. And bye.